Thank you so much, Ross, for joining us here at the Dwellynn Show. I'm your host, Ola Dantes. I've got the awesome Ross Stryker with us today. Thanks for joining, Ross.
Ola, thanks for having me on. I love your podcast. You've had some incredible guests on, so I am truly honored to be on your show. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much. I was just before we connected here, I was just reading. Russ has got an amazing backdrop with a Zig Ziglar's quote, and I love it so much. So that's like a really good start. So, Ross, I know you can do a way better job, describing who you are, what you've been up to. So, can you just kind of tell our Dwell listeners a little bit about you and kind of what you've been up to lately, actually?
Well, first of all, I'll tell them about the Zig Ziglar quote. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. I don't need to turn around to read it. I know the quote, and I love that quote. And it's so true that if you'll just focus on others, gifts will come back to you tenfold. So my background, as I like to kiddingly say, I'm a recovering orthodontist. I used to be an orthodontist and straighten people's teeth with braces and Invisalign and help align jaws and that kind of thing. And I love that profession. I'm an accidental real estate investor. I say it because, of course, we had the usual things that people have, but that wasn't real estate investing. We had our house and we had the offices that I owned and leased back to the corporation. That's just accidental real estate investing. But I didn't truly imagine that we would ever be real estate investing until we attended a mentoring group several years ago and we got hooked on it. And before you know it, within a short amount of time, I was able to replace my transactional income, as I call it, my W-2 income, with passive income from real estate. And so I've started a company called Smart Asset Opportunities. You can take the E and the T off the asset and maybe get an idea of who I am jokingly as a little bit of a smart ass. But we like to help other people do the same thing. I mean, we're just about helping, and I say we because I have a team and we can talk about that later. But our group is about helping other people achieve their financial freedom. It doesn't mean they have to quit their day job if they love it. It just means then they'll have the option of doing one or the other or both, whichever they want to do. So we just want to create freedom for that's what we're about.
Wow, thank you so much, Ross. I really, really love that intro right there. So some folks might be listening to this and thinking, "Hey, I mean, this guy was a dentist, probably earning decent pay, and then obviously, like you said, you were an accidental landlord, and then you started doing real estate." But some people could have still been an accidental landlord and sold off that real estate asset and continued their 9 to 5 job. What was that thing that got you, as you said, hooked when you went for the seminar? I mean, why didn't you just go back and keep earning a decent pay as being an orthodontist? Why do real estate? Why, you know, leave that comfort and start investing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I get asked that question around my little town where I still live. Even today, it's almost a daily occurrence that people say, "Man, you had a great business. You had that thing, a well-oiled machine. You had 24 ladies working for you. I mean, what they're getting at, Ola, is they're saying you must have been making a lot of money, and you know what? I was making a very good income, and I was very comfortable in it. But just like too many sports people stay too long in whatever it is, soccer or whatever it is, they stay a year too long, 2 years too long, just to make a little income." And that's how people remember them, is the fading star. I wanted to go out on top. I wanted to go out when people said, "Man, you were crushing it. You were really doing well." And the thing that got us hooked on the real estate, Ola, was frankly, it's kind of like the movie The Matrix. You take the red pill and you suddenly see this world that you didn't even know existed. And we got around like-minded people, good people that we know, like, and trust, still to this day work with. And because there's so many things in real estate, I'll just characterize it as the run to the back of the room seminars. The first 5 people that run to the back of the room will sign you up for $10,000 to take our next seminar. Today's seminar was just to get you hooked, and then you're going to spend more money. This wasn't that kind of group. This was a group that was going to actually mentor you in real estate investing over the long term. We were going to have quarterly meetups and so on, and you're going to work together, and you're going to create a tribe, as I like to call it, where you work and help each other. So in that kind of environment, we saw what kind of returns were possible. Look, I'm not criticizing the traditional financial planners, the Wall Street related folks, but they have a product to sell, they have a service to sell. And what do they do when you get close to the retirement age? They tell you, well, you're going to have to be more conservative, and now you're going to have to settle for 3 or 4% returns. Well, for most people that get to that quote unquote retirement age, and frankly, I don't believe in retirement, they don't have enough capital accumulated at 3 or 4% to replace the transactional income with passive income. When we found out there were returns of 8, 10, double-digit returns and higher, a light bulb went off. We're like, hey, we got this. We can do this. Now, you mentioned something. Yes, we had accumulated some capital, but the one thing that we didn't have that a lot of your listeners have, and they have more time than we had. We were in middle to late 50s when we went into this mode. Okay, you've got listeners in their 20s that can get out there and absolutely kick it with the strategies that they'll learn in some kind of mentoring group or listening to podcasts like yours and picking up the really insider information on what you need to do. Because, in real estate, unlike Wall Street, insider information is where you really make the deal.
So just kind of like a final kind of back out question from there. What is the difference in your life as a W-2 income earner with your practice and being a real estate investing full time? What's that? What's the differences in lifestyle? Just kind of curious.
Well, I'll give you an example this morning. When I was practicing, I was very intentional about being at the office by 7 o'clock, reviewing the day's notes. I was kind of like the coach of a football team. I had to make sure all our plays were ready to call. I had the play sheet called, but you have to get there early. This morning, I got up and my wife and I walked our dogs. Now, we still got up pretty early. I mean, we were out walking our dogs before 6 a.m., which is late for us, frankly. It was kind of a sleep-in morning. And then I went to the gym and worked out. And then I had a video conference with my team. One's in Florida, one's in the Philippines, one's here in Missouri. And we had a video conference about, all right, what's the playbook for today? But it's a different schedule. It's more fluid, and I'm able to have a little more freedom. Now, with that freedom comes that you have to have the discipline to be intentional about your schedule, because I'm very, prior military. I was in the military for 12 years. I believe in having a focus and intention every day about what you do, a schedule, a discipline, if you will. But it's different. I've got more freedom. Today I can do what I want. Tomorrow I'm going to take my wife to Arkansas. She loves to antique shop. So we're going to spend a couple of days antique shopping. Thursday, I'm going to leave for Belize for a meetup there with a bunch of real estate investors or meeting in Belize. So I would never dreamed of doing that when I was practicing an orthodontist. I had to be at the office every day because nothing happened unless my license with me attached to it was there working at the chair.
Yeah, that is such a fantastic answer, and I think for some people as well, they don't really quite understand. When you say like financial freedom, that term doesn't really resonate as you've described it, kind of A to Z. So thank you so much for that. So I've got to ask you something. I mean, you mentioned it. So you're going to Belize, and I know you have some property there,
Yeah.
and you had a coffee farm in Panama. I mean, you've done all kinds of investments. So my question is, first and foremost, how do you, evaluate some of these opportunities, right? It's not like you live in Panama or, you live in Belize. When you get these investments from abroad, how do you analyze them?
Yeah. First of all, yeah, we do have, when you look at our, what we've invested in, it's kind of an interesting, I'll put it that way. When I go to the traditional lenders, like we've got an opportunity in Birmingham we're working on, and you show them your spreadsheet with the loans you've got and the properties you're lending on and the properties you're titled with, they sit across the table from you and go, all right, tell us about this coffee farm in Panama. Tell us about these ATMs you've invested in. Tell us about this resort in Belize. And it comes from not evaluating the opportunity first, Ola. It comes from opportunity, evaluating the people that you're working with. And again, because we're part of mentoring groups where you form this tribe, as I call it, where you trust these people, that's where the opportunities come from. Not from me. I've not been to the coffee farm yet in Panama. I need to get down there and look at it. This week, while we're in Belize, we're going to go to the mainland and look at a chocolate farm, a cacao farm that I haven't invested in yet, but probably should because it's an amazing opportunity. So you find those opportunities again by meeting people, networking, finding the insider information. Again, that's where the deals are made in real estate, whether it be in ATMs, which is not really real estate, but it's equipment, or a Panama coffee farm or a chocolate farm in Belize. The opportunities are made by meeting people that are out there just kicking butt and saying, I want to get involved in this. I want to be part of this. So Anyway, we like to spread our eggs, as Grandma used to say, put your eggs in different baskets. We have different asset classes, different states, different countries that we invest in. And these are things 5 years ago, Ola, we had no idea were even possible. But once you meeting people that are doing it, you realize, how did I get to my mid 50s and not even know that this information was out there? It's because we trusted the traditional system. And you know, we said, look, we're going to run our business, but we're going to turn all our money and our financial acumen over to somebody else, because you know, they're training us with a system to say, we're smarter than you, give us your money, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it, and then check in with us when you're 60 and see if there's enough money to retire on. Oh, it doesn't work. The system's broke because too many people are arriving at that stage of life and realizing, I can't retire. I can't retire to the lifestyle I'm used to. I've got to keep working, or I've got to, you know, go to those 4 p.m. senior dinners to afford to eat dinner, you know, that kind of thing. So we're just on a mission to help other people accomplish what we have, and I know you are too. You want to create that freedom for people, just like you
Absolutely,
do.
absolutely, absolutely. And I know I read somewhere, you know, you're sometimes, you know, bolting with Robert Kiyosaki. That's the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of, you know, one of many legends in the real estate investor game. Changed a lot of lives. You know, I just kind of want to throw it out there. How does it actually feel like to kind of spend time with someone like that on that kind of level? You know, what do you learn from it? I had to ask about that.
Well, the voyaging by ship with Robert Kiyosaki comes through one of the mentoring groups that we're part of, the real estate guys, Robert Helms and Russell Gray, who are amazing mentors, and I'm part of their group. And Robert and his wife Kim like to go on their cruises each year, or at least they have the last like 14 years running. Robert doesn't suffer fools lightly. So when you listen to his podcast, and occasionally he'll say, that's the dumbest question I've ever heard, or whatever, you know, and Kim kind of calms him down. You know what I'm talking about. That's what he's like in person, except 10x it. Okay. So if you ask him a stupid question, he will tell you you are stupid. Okay. So anyway,
Oh, that's funny.
but I love him because he's changed so many people's lives, including mine. Now, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's a good book. The one that influenced me more is the Cash Flow Quadrant. And so I love that book, his second book, more than I like. And I give that book out to people when I'm trying to tell them about the changes that we've evolved in. Because, see, in this small town where I'm at, I'm still looked at as an orthodontist. I'm in that silo, if you will. And so most of the people that invest or partner with us are not here locally. Matter of fact, there's very few locally that partner with us. It's around the country, because people see me around the country and what we're doing now as a real estate investor or developer. They don't see me as an orthodontist. So sometimes it's hard to get out of that pigeonhole, if you will, that you're in. So anyway, Robert's amazing. He's very smart, but I got to tell you what, his wife Kim's smarter. Frankly, she is truly a great lady, very smart. Robert's lucky to have her. He definitely married up, and he'll probably tell you the same.
Awesome, awesome. So there's also something I was going to ask you. So of course we know that, you know, retirement as it is today and 401ks and kind of the traditional methods that we know isn't just going to be enough, right? But then if I'm somebody kind of thinking about retirement or thinking about the future, how can I really discover my investor style? You know, how can I do that? How do I know what is going to work for me? What's not going to work for me?
You know, that's a tough question, because our investor style is constantly evolving because the market changes with time. So um, again, it gets back to finding people that can help you, can mentor you, take you by the hand, if you will, and help walk you through the process. Now, where did we start? The typical way most people start in real estate investing: single family homes, duplexes, fourplexes. That's not a bad place to start. I'm not saying that's anything wrong with that. But as we got into wanting to help other people get to their freedom point, it's not scalable. I can't walk enough people through buying single family homes. And again, for those listening, I'm sure because they're listeners of yours, they know we're not talking about the typical strategy that you learn at a real estate seminar where you run to the back of the room, which is excuse me, you're going to go out with your brother-in-law and buy a house and spend all your weekends hammering nails and flipping the house and then selling it on the back end. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people need to do that to accumulate cash in the beginning. But I'm talking about true investing, where you're creating an investment that lasts you with a passive income, that's transactional income. That's just trading one job for another. And frankly, you're tying up your weekends that you should be spending some time with your family anyway. So, you've got to create a network of people that can help you find your real estate investing style, if you want to call that. And for us, we quickly realized that, first of all, we can't help other people in single family homes. We've got to have something scalable. So that means commercial, whether it be multifamily or mobile home parks or commercial office buildings, or like we're doing a lot of now, self-storage, if we're going to help enough other people come along. And by partnering with other people, you can kind of be involved with deals, spread your eggs in those different baskets, if you will, and find out if you want to become active or not. Some people just want to remain passive. They just want to invest with somebody like myself or yourself or somebody else, and they don't want to get active. I get it. That's fine. As a matter of fact, a lot of the folks that invest with us, like, I don't want to be out there finding opportunities. You go find them, and I'll invest with you. Other people are like, no, I want to be more active. So it just depends on where on the scale you reside as far as your risk tolerance, how much work you want to put into it. And again, most of the tribe that's investing with us are still in that transactional income stage. They're doctors, they're dentists, they're lawyers, they're engineers, they're small business owners. They still have a business to run, and they want to do this on the side and then maybe transition to that later. So they're kind of following behind me on the scale, if you will.
So, you mentioned something as well when we were talking before the call. You were saying get your money, or why you need to get your money out of Wall Street, right? And, sometimes when I speak to investors and I ask them, I'm like, oh, how's the stock market doing these days? How are your returns looking like, And they go, well, with the uncertainty and then the swings and, the ups and downs, it's just, uh, you know. So and I'm thinking, well, have you ever considered, real estate, right? And a lot of people just think of HGTV, and they, like you just described, they're, putting nails in the house, trying to flip a house, and they just never see the passive investing or the passive income side of real estate and the bigger picture, as opposed to just the little tiny homes, and they have to flip it and spend all this time instead of leveraging a time like, yours or like mine. So why would you think it's not a good idea to keep their money with Wall Street at this point in time?
Well, look, a lot of people have had success on Wall Street, but you just described something that's the problem with Wall Street that never gets explained to people. You described the roller coaster effect. Well, we saw in 2008 what happened to a lot of my friends and peers. I wasn't in Wall Street, but a lot of them lost a third to a half of their net worth. And that meant that their retirement, which was coming in the next 2 or 3 years, got pushed off 8 or 10 years because of those losses. Now, let's say that you keep your money riding on Wall Street, excuse me, and you arrive at that magic age of retirement and 50% of your net income goes away overnight. And it'll happen again because, hey, we have corrections, they happen. You can't count on that for passive income when you get there. So if you can't count on it, and look, I'm not criticizing the Wall Street people, although I am. I believe in getting your money onto Main Street and out of Wall Street and something tangible. The other thing about Wall Street, okay, so the roller coaster effect, you can't count on it when you need it. You need to have something that's a passive income stream. And again, they will place you in something conservative that makes the numbers almost unfathomable to work for most people. But the other thing is you don't control it. Let's talk about what happened in 2008. You've got somebody like Lehman Brothers that goes underwater and suddenly, too big to fail, so we got to bail them out. But do you think the people that even went to work at Lehman Brothers knew that was going to happen? No, they were coming to work on the first and second floor. Meanwhile, up on the 20th floor of the office building, all kind of shenanigans were going on that they didn't know about. And the next day, they don't have a job. They're out of work. Okay, so how can those of us who are investing in Wall Street have any idea if even the people that were working on Wall Street had no idea that was happening? So you've got to find something that you've got control or influence on, or at least an understanding of it. I don't understand what happens on Wall Street. If I don't understand something, why would I invest in it? And that's what people are blindly doing. They're investing in a product they don't really understand what's behind it. If they did, they'd probably get their money out today. But with real estate, you control it. And there's so many other advantages, Ola, with taxation and so on. And I get it. and I don't want to monologue here, but what happened in 2008 that scares them about real estate? Well, real estate values went down. But that's right. That's when you buy. Okay. You don't sell when things are down. You keep it, you keep renting it out, and you form alliances. And when things do go down like that, 20 or 25%, you weather the storm, you keep renting them out, and you form alliances to go purchase real estate at that time when things are down. Buy low, sell high. It's not complicated.
I love it. I love it. That is so good. Before we definitely get to the quick rounds, I've got a few more questions. So you talked about your team, and it's pretty global. And then I want us to tell us how your team is today, and kind of like what you're doing, how you're helping others in smart asset opportunities as a whole.
Yeah, well, we have multiple teams. So let me talk to you about my nuclear team. My nuclear team, if you will, that I work with day to day. Shannon lives in Missouri, although oftentimes does not work in the same location I am, oftentimes works from home. She's not here right now. Natalie is in Florida, and then Ivy's in the Philippines. And then I also have my wife, Mary, who doesn't work with us day to day, but she has a veto power over anything we're pursuing. I mean, if she just raises her eyebrows or says no, that's it, we're moving on. If mama says that's not going to be a good opportunity, we say moving on to something else. She has a way, well, I'll put it this way. Most women have a better bullshit meter than men do. They can sniff out something quicker than we can. They just have an intuitive sense of it. So although I can look at the numbers and I can look at spreadsheets, she can look at something else that I can't see. So now also when we're doing an opportunity, look, I'm not in Panama, so we have to have a team that we work with there. I'm not in Alabama where we've got a project going now, but we create a team of engineers, architects, contractors, property managers that we work with. So there's multiple teams that we work with. And I'm sorry, I got onto this and I forgot what the basic question was. But we do form teams, and then that's what we do when we find opportunities. We're generally looking for opportunities that are scalable enough to where we can come back to our network of investors, our tribe, put on a webinar and say, hey, we've got an educational webinar. We're going to tell you about this opportunity that's going on. Come listen to it. And if it's something you want to invest in, and some of these are not our opportunities, sometimes there are people in our tribe that are offering something, multifamily in Memphis. I'm not in Memphis, but I have friends that are doing that. We bring their webinar to our tribe and say, you might want to invest with Dave. Or we may have something over in Illinois and we say, James has got a project in Illinois, going to put on a webinar. You look at it. Look, it's not about us. It's not about me making money off. It's about helping these people get to their freedom point. And once they listen to that webinar, if it's something that's in their wheelhouse, they contact that promoter or they contact us and say, yeah, that's something we want to tag along with. So I don't know, does that clarify the process?
It totally does. It does. That's kind of the second part of the question. So, we definitely dwelling into the quick rounds. These are going to be quick questions, quick answers. You ready, sir?
I'm ready. Fire away. Fire away.
Right. First question. What would you say makes you, Russ, unique? What is that differentiating factor that separates you from the next guy or the next girl?
I'm going to take this off of our mission and vision statement, which is we came up with 3 uniques. The first unique thing is, and I know this sounds like it shouldn't be unique, but sometimes it is, there's no pressure to invest with us. Frankly, in one way, I don't even care, because it's not about us. If this isn't the right investment for you, don't invest in it, and we, like I say, we offer opportunities with other people. I care because I want people to get to their freedom point. I want them to take action, and so many people don't take action. They simply read books, they go to seminars, they listen to podcasts, and never do anything. So I do want them to take action, but I don't care if they take action with us. The next thing is we're asset agnostic. I don't care if you invest in storage facilities like we're putting together a development now, or if you invest in mobile home parks, or you invest in multifamily, or if you invest in commercial office buildings or industrial space. It just doesn't matter to me. If the numbers work, the numbers work. So, and then we don't just teach people. The third thing that's unique about us, we're actually out there doing things. And I found out, there are a lot of promoters that don't put their own skin in the game. They're not investing. They're only bringing OPM and other people's money. They're not putting their own money in. Virtually, I can't think of one opportunity that we've brought to our group that I didn't put my own cash into. So if I believe in it enough to put 50 or $100,000 of my own money into it, you can bet I believe in it, and I think it's something you should invest in. So I think between those three things, it makes us pretty unique.
Awesome. Awesome. Second question. What was the last book that you read, and what was the one thing that you picked out from that book?
I haven't. Well, look. I'm going to tell you about a book I just got and I haven't read yet, but I'm going to read it on the plane to Belize. And that is a guest you've had on. That's Doug Marshall, and the name of the book is The Art of Commercial Real Estate Investing.
Great book.
And I'm hooked on Doug now. I'm getting his weekly little newsletter, and he is amazing. I want to hook up with him in person. But the book, as much as I've cracked it open, looks very fascinating, and I do like the fact that there is an art to it and a science to real estate investing. We already mentioned the cash flow quadrant. And by the way, if people come to us through your podcast, I have a book called Why Not Financial Freedom? Get Off the Treadmill, which is a compilation of 12 or 13 folks who reached their freedom point and how they did it. And I'd be happy to share a free copy of that book if they come to our website. So.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Can you share that website with us real quick?
Yeah, the website is smartassetopportunities.com. It's three words, smart asset. Don't forget the E and the T at the end, because then it would be smart ass. Smart asset opportunities is plural with an S.com. And so, I tell people if they're interested in us, come to our website, sign up for my weekly blog. I don't do a podcast, but just kind of kick the tires a little bit, get to know us. And then if you think it's something you want to do, just reach out to us. But if you come to our website, it'll allow you to sign up for that blog. And if you're on our blog list, when we do webinars, you'll be on an invite list to attend that.
Thank you so much for that. I really, really
Yeah.
appreciate that, Ross.
Yeah.
Last question. You've got your coffee farm in Panama. You've got, your property in Belize. You've got your single families. You've got your apartment storage. You've got a lot going on, right? You got your team. You got your wife as well, family. What do you do for fun?
Well, actually it's part business and part fun, but I'm a pilot and I have a plane and I like to fly and I utilize that plane and for looking at opportunities, but it's also fun. I might fly out to Pennsylvania to see somebody that we invest with, or recently was down in the Houston area looking at properties, and then I flew across country over to Georgia and Florida and looked at some opportunities there. And I'm always trying to expand my flying skills, so I get together with a gentleman monthly and we go through some things. And then in March, I'll be doing a 3-day exercise where Helen, who's one of my favorite instructors, and I will meet in Atlanta, and we'll just find the worst, crappiest weather you can find. And we'll go fly into that crappy weather so we can get some low minimums, and which is fun for me because I like to stretch and challenge myself and my flying abilities. And so that's what I get to do for fun. I get the benefit of having an aircraft that I get to fly and base right here in my little airport here in town, and get into the system, as I call it, and play with the ATC controllers and have a good time.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. So if there's a Dwell listener listening to our conversation and they're like, oh, wow, I really like, what Ross is talking about. I like his style. I want to check out, what he's doing. I know you've already mentioned your website a little bit, but how can people really connect with you, get to know you, reach out to you?
Yeah, the website's the best. Once they get to my website, my cell phone number's on there, and I should actually put my team members' cell phones on there and say something like call them anytime, like 2 a.m. or something. But no, they can get a hold of me through there. That's really the best place to make the initial contact. And of course, we got a Facebook site and all that. But anyway, go to the website, and if you decide that's something you want to reach out to me, my cell phone number's there. You can reach me there.
Thank you so much, Russ. This was such a good one. I think we didn't even cover half of what you have going on. Perhaps we'll bring you back on the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Ola, thanks for having me on. Thanks for the good work you're doing. It's all about helping other people and raising them up and trying to get them to where they want to be. And, there's just so little knowledge that we get as we go through the system. I'm air quoting here. And by design, they don't want people to know this information because, they call this investing. What do they call it? They call it alternative investing, which is such a nefarious term. It makes it sound scary. And you and I know it's not scary if you align yourself with the right people. So I appreciate the good work you're doing to try and help people too.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you very much.